Welcome back to News USA. It is November 28th, 2020. It is Saturday, and just wanted to take a little bit of time to go over a couple of things. You see the topic. It is, will President Trump pardon himself? That's what we'll be going over today. This is the home for the rational thinker. Those of you out there who think rationally, this is the place for you. This isn't the place where you go to if you want to just be in an echo chamber, if you want everybody to, or if you just want to hear what you want to hear, this isn't the place for you. We try to have as objective as possible discussions on this channel. I just can't bring myself to just clickbait folks and, just say things that are, potentially untrue or whatnot, just for the sake of gaining viewership or gaining some type of following. There's plenty of channels out there doing that, and just don't feel the need to do it here. If you're a Republican, I'm going to piss you off. If you're a Democrat, I'm going to piss you off, because I'm just going to give fair takes on both sides, right or wrong. And I know in this spectrum, it's choose a side or else. But hey, I guess it'll just be or else for me. I see so many people out there just saying anything just to fit whatever narrative that they're on, left or right. I was listening to a show earlier today, another show on YouTube, and this is a perfect example. The gentleman was saying that he leans right. He's on the right. Pretty decent channel. I'm not going to say the channel's name or anything like that. This isn't to call out anybody specifically. This is News USA. We hold public officials accountable, not civilians. But the person was saying that, with this whole fraud case going on with the election, he was saying that this is all a hoax. The election was stolen. This whole thing was set up by Democrats, and they stole the election, and we need to fight to get the election back. They stole the election just like they stole the election for Hillary Clinton. Yeah. Purposely paused right there. Pregnant pause. Yeah. Just like they stole the election for Hillary Clinton. Well, that was the worst election steal of all time, because she didn't win. And so while he's saying that, he catches himself that he said that, and then says, well, they canceled it right at the end, right up until the end. She didn't campaign. That's why she didn't campaign. They canceled it right at the end. She was set up to win, but they pulled the plug on it right at the very end. Okay, so they set up the entire election for Hillary Clinton to win, but then they just pulled the plug at the end. Okay, all right. I have no interest in doing that here. It's tiring. It's tiring. I'd rather have real discussions with folks and hopefully build a real following of people who just want to trade ideas and right or wrong, move forward amicably. So if you're here, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, whatever, share all of that stuff that people say. I appreciate it. This is just a off the cuff live stream. Just wanted to go over a few things. If you follow the channel, we did a stream yesterday. We posted that up on the channel in reference to the news of this week, kind of the top stories that happened this week. Well, missed this story, so I wanted to go ahead and cover it, go ahead and go over it. It is talking about Sidney Powell's Kraken voter fraud lawsuit. I'm not sure if you guys remember Sidney Powell, because she had such a short stint over there with the Trump team. I don't even think it lasted a week. But during that time, she said that she was going to release the Kraken. And this was, once she released this information, it was going to change everything. Everything was going to turn over, and the whole political spectrum is just going to be flipped upside down and all this other stuff. She called it the Kraken after everybody knows what the Kraken is. At least I hope you do. The big sea monster or whatnot. It swallows up ships and whatnot. Let's take a look at what this says. The lawsuits filed by Donald Trump's former lawyer, Sidney Powell, have been mocked for containing a slew of typos and mistakes, as well as lacking any meaningful evidence of voter fraud. Okay. People who previously promised Powell, who previously promised I'm going to release the Kraken in reference to lawsuits which would expose how Trump was allegedly cheated out of the election victory, released two documents which have been eagerly awaited by supporters of the president as well as conspiracy theorists and QAnon followers. Maybe it has been. I don't know about that part. The Kraken was just released on Georgia, Powell wrote while tweeting a link to her website before promising to release the Kraken in Michigan. Okay, let's move on. The 104-page suit detailing allegations of fraud in Georgia and the 75-page document focusing on Michigan both contain a series of typos, including spelling district incorrectly twice in the Georgia suit's opening line. In the Michigan lawsuit, the court name is also misspelled on the top line to read Eastern District of Michigan. Okay. The documents misspell the name of William Briggs, one of Powell's key expert witnesses, incorrectly referring to him as Williams Briggs, Williams with an S, and William Higgs. Okay. Let's read on here and see what else they have to say. Bradley P. Moss, a prominent lawyer who covers national security, said rarely does a lawyer need to make their lawsuit 100 pages long. Maybe if you're literally taking down a multinational corporation with 25 separate counts. He added, you don't forget to spell check. You don't make wild accusations. I mean, seriously, this is not what professionals do. This is the stuff that gets the judge to throw the book at you. It gets the bar association to inquire into your conduct. If you follow the channel, I talked about that before, where Rudy Giuliani got in front of the judge and said, hey, this is not a fraud case. And the reason that he probably did that is so that the bar doesn't start to look into him, because you can lose your license if you're just bringing up false cases or whatnot, or falsely accusing people of crimes that they didn't commit, or things that they didn't do. They really look down on that. So that's not a good thing. You never really want to do that when you're practicing law. Let's take a look. Former federal prosecutor and legal analyst Renato Mariotti, hopefully I said that right, said Sidney Powell's Kraken complaint is more like a baby shrimp. It isn't worth the paper it's printed on, but she has misled millions of people into believing that it will change the outcome of the election. Spoiler alert, it won't. British solicitor Nazir Afzal tweeted, you don't have to read 104-page Kraken submissions by Powell. Here's a good summary. Conspiracy theories and spelling mistakes litter them. How she was once a federal prosecutor beggars belief. It should only be about the evidence, and none of this overwhelms or stands up to scrutiny. So yeah, okay, we're not going to keep going on and on with this. This is, just a bunch of attacks on her or whatnot. I did pull up some of the typos to take a look at them. We got one here. You can see here in the United States District. It's got two C's here in District Court, Northern District. Not only is there two C's here, it's district is completely misspelled on the other part of that. The gentleman here, Alistair Coleman, it looks like, who tweeted this. The Kraken, Sidney Powell's lawsuit that will supposedly blow Biden out of the water has been released, and it's not a great start. Managing to spell district incorrectly twice differently in the same opening sentence. Yeah, that's funny. This was released as well. You can see here, Wayne County prevented many challengers from observing the ballot duplicating process, and then you just have a whole bunch of, I don't even know what this is. This could be. I'm no law expert, but I don't know what this is. You see here there's no spaces in between the words, and then here you've got a huge amount of spacing. Observable. Let's see if we can make this out. Observe ballot duplication, because if we make a mistake, then you would be all over us. Okay, so here, another great example. I don't even know. No spaces whatsoever. Folks, this looks bad. Left or right, doesn't matter. This meme right here is stupid. This lady is spitting up her drink, laughing at this. I guess that's what that's supposed to be a response to. But yeah, left or right, this is what's being presented as damning evidence for voter fraud. This is what is being brought up and released. This is supposed to be, I mean, if she might be right. She did release the Kraken, because this is a bombshell of a mess. It's incoherent. It's not making any sense. So in a sense, she did release the Kraken. But guys, if this is what we're going off of, how long is it going to take before Republicans start to hold these folks accountable? Republicans, you should be saying, hey, okay, we've been fighting for you. We've been backing you. We've been going with what you're saying. Show us something. Show us something credible. Do something credible. This is an insult to your intelligence. If you're a Republican, this stuff right here, this should be an insult. If you're fighting for your party, if you're fighting for your beliefs, or what, the person that you voted for, you should expect more than this. This I don't know. I would expect more than this. Show us something concrete, not the conspiracy theories that don't have any basis, that you can't pinpoint them. I mean, we went to the moon in the 60s. You should be able to show some concrete evidence of what you're talking about. And if we're still now, 3 weeks later, we don't have any definitive evidence, to show for it, what are we doing? It's not making sense to me. You guys should be just as upset as, on the right with this. Show the concrete evidence. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's still to come. Like I said, if it comes out, or if some strong piece of evidence comes out that will switch this thing around, then fine. I'm all for it. Just got to see it first. But stuff like this, I mean, we got to have more, if you really want to turn things around. But just wanted to touch on this really quick, because apparently I missed it when we went over the top stories of the week, and that is a pretty big story. If they were supposed to be dropping a bombshell, of evidence. But basically what I've read on it is the report just pretty much had the same stories in it that they had already spoken about. They had already released the Dominion voting things, and, with Venezuela and all of that, and people not being allowed, or Republicans not being allowed to oversee the ballots. That's not in the Constitution, by the way. There is nowhere in the Constitution that says you have to have a Republican and a Democrat sitting there watching who's counting the votes or whatnot. I guess that's just a courtesy. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. Let's go ahead and move on to the topic. Today's actual topic that I wanted to get into: can President Trump pardon himself, or will he pardon himself? This is amazing. This has never happened before in the history of the United States. No president has tried to pardon himself. I think there was a little bit of back and forth with Nixon, where he may have stepped down and his vice president would have pardoned him or whatnot, but that didn't happen. Nixon just went ahead and stepped down after the Watergate situation. But will President Trump pardon himself? In short, I think that he might. I think he might try to push it. He's pushed the edge on everything else. I think it's possible that he will try. I don't think that he would step down and have Pence pardon him. I think that would be too low for him. I don't think that he would do that. But then again, pardoning himself, if he does do that, that would mean that he's admitting that he knows that he's done some wrong, or he's committed some crimes where he feels like he needs to be pardoned. Now, the last video that we put out, I believe it was on the last one, but we talked about the power that the president has to pardon, and pretty much the president has the power to pardon all the way up until it comes to his own impeachment. Not him, President Trump. I mean him or her, the position. The president can pretty much pardon all the way across the board. There's really it's not reviewable by other branches of government. And the president doesn't have to give reason for doing so if he's pardoning someone. So we know that part. But in the case of impeachment, if a president is being impeached, it specifically says that he cannot pardon himself. And also to add to that, a pardon only applies to federal crimes. So that means a pardon wouldn't protect Trump's associates from criminal investigation being conducted by the state or whatnot. So that's another thing to think about. He can pardon his family members. That would be perfectly legal, according to the Constitution. But will he pardon himself? That's, I don't know. Like I said, I believe that he may try, but then again, if he does, that could be a form of admission of guilt. But I do have here on the Washington Post pulled up. It says a rap sheet for a former president. I just want to go through some of the things that they bring up as far as what he could possibly be pardoned for. I wanted to take a look at them and go over them and kind of give my take on each one of them if I feel that they are credible or at least have any substance. Let's take a look at it. It will be up to the Attorney General to decide whether filing criminal charges against Donald Trump and his aides best serves justice. Okay. State prosecutors also may have evidence of illegal conduct. The statute of limitations for most federal offenses is 5 years. Okay. That means crimes that occurred as far back as 2016 could be charged until their anniversary date in 2021. All right. Older offenses may also be charged if the conduct was part of an ongoing conspiracy. For instance, if a cover-up continued within the 5-year period covered by the statute. Trump has engaged in other deplorable conduct that probably does not amount to criminal activity. Well, that's a little bit of opinion there. Some people may not find what he's done deplorable. Others might. Let's just get to the meat. Okay, obstruction of justice. Here's the first one. The gist of this crime is impeding an investigation for a corrupt purpose. Special counsel report Robert Mueller's investigation of possible links between the Trump campaign and Russian interference in the 2016 election developed evidence of 10 instances when Trump was involved in obstruction. In at least 4 of those instances, Mueller laid out evidence sufficient to prove each element of the offense. Okay, so here in the Mueller investigation, we have 10 instances when Trump was involved in obstruction, and at least 4 of those instances, Mueller laid out evidence sufficient to prove each element of the offense. Okay. Trump's effort to limit Mueller's investigation to future elections to dissuade his former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort, from cooperating with prosecutors to fire Mueller and to cover up the attempt to fire Mueller. Okay, so those are the 4 there. It is not necessary to show that any underlying crime was committed to establish obstruction of justice. International interference in an investigator's work is a crime enough. Okay, so yeah, this one has some validity to it. It has some weight to it. It says that they can prove out of these 10 instances, these 4 have sufficient enough evidence to prove that there was some form of obstruction of justice. So that's probably something that he would have to worry about. Let's see here, bribery. Okay, we all know what bribery is. Asking for a thing of value in exchange for the performance of an official act violates the federal bribery statute. When Trump threatened to withhold military aid from Ukraine in 2019, he was arguably doing just that. The evidence at his impeachment trial included, let's take a look, Trump phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky asking for a favor in the form of finding dirt on political opponent Joe Biden. A witness at the impeachment inquiry testified that announcing an investigation that could implicate Biden was a quid pro quo for receiving the military aid. Now, we all remember this. This is when Trump was touting, hey, this was a perfectly fine call. The call was perfect. You couldn't have had a more beautiful call. We were just talking. we all remember this situation. This one is another one that has some weight to it because I'm not sure. I don't remember off the top of my head if there's a transcript or whatnot of the phone call. I should have looked that up, but if there is one, that could be some damning evidence that could hold some weight. Although the Senate acquitted Trump in his impeachment trial, the Fifth Amendment's double jeopardy clause should not bar criminal charges because Trump did not face a loss of liberty over impeachment, but rather loss of the presidency. Okay, so basically what it's saying there is this wasn't criminal. This is more so just a loss of the presidency. Makes sense. Conspiracy to defraud the United States. This occurs when individuals agree to obstruct the work of a federal agency. If members of the Trump administration sabotage the U.S. Postal Service to influence the outcome of the 2020 election, this charge could be considered for anyone who conspired to achieve the illegal objective, even those who took no personal action. Okay, I don't know about this one. I'd have to do a little bit more research into this one. I don't remember that Trump actually set out to sabotage the U.S. Postal Service. This one could be a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, there could be validity to it here. This is a big one here, the campaign finance violations. We all remember this one. In August 2018, Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, pleaded guilty to making illegal contributions to Trump's presidential campaign to buy the silence of adult film star Stormy Daniels, who claimed she had an affair with Trump. According to the government's sentencing memo, Cohen set up a shell corporation to make a $130,000 payment to prevent Daniels from making public statements that would harm Trump's candidacy. As stated in court documents in Cohen's case, the payments assisted the campaign by preventing the publication of negative stories about the candidate that might influence the election. His payment exceeded the legal limit of $2,700 for campaign contributions and violated the law prohibiting corporate contributions. The government, hold on for a second. The government stated that Cohen acted in coordination with and at the direction of individual one, identified as someone who ran an ultimately successful campaign for president of the United States. It appears that the Justice Department has already reached the conclusion that there is sufficient evidence to charge Trump. Okay, so here in this one, I think this one is pretty heavy. The campaign finance violations, that one would be pretty heavy. And from what this is saying, it appears that the Justice Department has already reached the conclusion that there is sufficient evidence to charge Trump. So that's pretty strong there. That would be something that he would have to worry about, the campaign finance violations. When you start talking about money and taxes and all that other stuff, things start to kind of get heavy. Pre-presidency crimes. I don't know if they'll do this one as much. This one may be, more so at a state level or whatnot. Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. has stated in public documents that the subpoenas he served to obtain Trump's tax and financial records are part of an investigation into possible crimes committed before Trump became president. Cohen testified before Congress that Trump would alter statements of his wealth and assets to suit his purposes. When seeking a loan to buy the Buffalo Bills, for example, Trump overstated his net worth to boost the appearance of his creditworthiness. Cohen said on his tax returns, according to Cohen, Trump would understate the value of his assets to lower his tax bill. Potential crimes include bank insurance and tax fraud, money laundering, and preparing false business records. Okay, so this stuff right here is heavy. This I would say is heavy. This might be something that Trump would, in fact, worry about, that would concern him. Let's see. Similar allegations led a court order to Trump's son Eric to appear for a deposition in a civil investigation brought by the New York Attorney General. Okay, we're not talking about his son. We're talking about the president. He could pardon his son if his son, is caught up in a mess here, and he can pardon all of them. He has the right to do that. As we stated, he doesn't. Congress and whatnot can't even question it. Not that they would. The Senate Republicans hold the Senate as of right now anyway. So, Hatch Act violations. The Hatch Act prohibits federal employees from engaging in certain political activities. The idea is to keep governance separate from campaigning and to protect workers from being intimidated into supporting a particular candidate as a condition of their employment. Let's see what he did. While the president is not bound by the Hatch Act, it is a crime for him to command or coerce others to violate the law. Criminal violations of the Hatch Act are punishable by up to 3 years in prison. When Trump schedules campaign events at the White House, as he has recently, he is commanding federal employees to violate the Hatch Act by setting up the room, admitting the guest, or otherwise performing tasks to support the event. When the president spoke from the White House at the Republican National Convention and recognized uniformed Border Patrol agents who were in attendance, he arguably was soliciting or conspiring with them to violate the Hatch Act. Okay, that one is kind of gray. I think there would be more of a gray area in this one. It's not as concrete as the other ones that we've gone through. Because he invited someone to the White House. I mean, I think there is a law. You're not supposed to be campaigning on, government property anyway. So, like I said, gray area here. Not too sure if that one would hold up. Crimes for another day. Let's see what this one is. In his report, Mueller avoided accusing Trump of a crime because Justice Department policy prohibited him from filing charges against a sitting president. Mueller reasoned that making the accusation when no trial could occur would deprive Trump of the opportunity to defend himself. That's fair enough. In court, he made clear, however, that his report was intended to preserve the evidence obtained in his investigation because a president does not have immunity when he leaves office. So that's fair enough. He pretty much said that he backed off of filing charges because Trump would not have the opportunity to defend himself. That's fair enough. But he did make it clear that once he's out of office, that's a completely different story. And he pretty much was just saying that he documented everything as so that it's there for when the president is ultimately one day out of office. Now, no one was really expecting that to be so soon. We didn't really expect that Joe Biden would win this election and remove an incumbent. That is rare. And Trump had such a huge following. We didn't expect that to really happen right now, but it did. So now this is coming up earlier than expected. Now, he did retweet. If I mentioned it before, I'll say it again. He did retweet. A reason why this is coming up is because he retweeted Matt Gaetz urging him to pardon himself. So that's another reason why this is coming up. He pardoned Flynn. So this is the discussion that's going on. And, when Trump does stuff like this, he brings these type of conversations onto himself. If he would have never tweeted that, he wouldn't, people wouldn't be talking about this. Maybe he wants to see what the backlash would be. Maybe he wants to. Sometimes it seems like he throws things out there just to see if it'll stick or what will happen or whatnot, or what type of backlash or what type of response he's going to get from it. But could he do it? We'll have to see, because it's kind of a gray area. He does have the power just to pardon, but the Constitution does say that he can't pardon himself during an impeachment. As of right now, he's not under any impeachment, so there's the gray area. Will he do it? There's a possibility, just to, if he may feel that Democrats may try to go after him, or people who don't like him or the things that he's done in the presidency while the president of the United States, they may want to, come after him because of those reasons, even though you're not supposed to. You're not, that's why the seal, the law is supposed to be fair and balanced, and the woman on the seal has the blinders on. You're not supposed to, go after people just because you don't like them, but we know this does happen. Biden has already said that he's not going to use the Department of Justice to go after Trump. So if Biden's not going to go after him, Trump knows that he doesn't have to worry about that. But you never know. I think he may do it just in case, just as maybe a slap in the face, and just as another buffer, just to make sure that he is okay and he's not going to have to worry about a bunch of problems. Now, if he does try to do it, we'll have to see what happens next. What type of legal battle there would be for that, if there is one that could come up. We don't know. But it will be interesting if it does happen. That's for sure. It would be a first. Never happened before in the United States of America. Like I said, I don't think that he's going to get Pence to do it. I don't think he would step down and get Pence to do it. That would be huge if he did. That's one of Trump's words, right? Huge. That would be huge if he did that. Don't see that coming, but anything is possible. We've seen in these last 4 years, anything is possible. We have seen the unseeable, the unthinkable these last 4 years. It's been quite a ride. But that's pretty much it for today's live stream. If you are watching this after the fact, subscribe. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. Turn on the channel notifications so that when we go live, you can join and have some Discord with me here. And appreciate you if you watched it all the way this far. Double the thanks. And as always, stay tuned to News USA.